Namaskar and welcome. You're watching Midday Prime on Doordarshan, nation's national news broadcaster. We'll be lead with the Supreme Court pulling up center on batch of petitions filed against Citizenship Amendment Act. We will also be talking about 2008 Jaipur blast verdict. But a big story continues to be decoding the Supreme Court's decision on review petition seeking review of its 2017 judgment awarding death penalty to one of the 4 death row convicts. That's going to be a top focus. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and up first on Midday Prime, here are the headlines. Supreme Court rejects review petition filed by one of the Nirbhaya Case convict Akshay Kumar Singh. All 4 convicts are on death row. Supreme Court issues notice to center on petitions challenging the validity of Citizenship Amendment Act. Asks center to file reply before 22nd of January. Court refuses to stay Citizenship Amendment Act. A special court in Jaipur convicts 4 accused in 2008 Jaipur serial blast case. On May 13 that year, 8 serial blasts had ripped through the city, killing more than 70 people. The other big news of the day, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to interact with their US counterparts as part of the second India-US 2+2 dialogue on the bilateral relations in Washington. And in the last day of campaigning for poll-bound Jharkhand, the state will go into the 5th and penultimate phase of voting on 20th December. String of political rallies from across parties scheduled today. And in international news, US House Committee sets rules of engagement of the president's impeachment debate. The House is set to vote on the impeachment today. Trump accuses Democrats of attempted coup. And in cricket, West Indies, they win the toss, elect to field first against India in the second ODI at Visakhapatnam. Remember, Windies lead the 3-match series 1-0. And the top story on Midday Prime, Supreme Court has rejected the review petition of Akshay Kumar Singh, one of the convicts in the 2012 Delhi gang rape case. 3-judge bench comprising of Justice R. Bhanumati, Justice Ashok Bhushan and Justice A.S. Bopanna, they dismissed this review petition. The court has made some very important observations. No grounds were found for review of 2017 verdict earlier, upholding the death penalty of convict. Asha Devi, remember, the mother of the 2012 Delhi gang rape victim, she has welcomed, the parents in fact have welcomed the decision, saying we have gone a step further. A quick look at their reaction.
तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मौका दिया और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनका सुना, इसके बाद फैसला दिया। और अब उनके लॉयर ये बोल रहे हैं कि वो क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन भी फाइल करेंगे, वो प्रेसिडेंट के पास भी जाएंगे। इसके बारे में क्या बोलना चाहिए? देखिए, अब उसका टाइम उन्होंने गंवा दिया है, 1 साल पूरा बैठ के, क्योंकि 18 महीने रिव्यू तीनों की खारिज हुई हो गई। उनके पास 18 महीने टाइम था रिव्यू करने का, क्यूरी करने का, इन्होंने नहीं किया। जेल में 7 दिन का डेट नोटिस किया था कि इसमें 7 दिन के अंदर सब मर्सी पटिशन जिसको करना है कर लो, इन लोगों ने नहीं किया। तो ऑलरेडी इन्होंने टाइम खत्म कर दिया है और उम्मीद है कि अब इसी पे इन लोगों का डेट जारी। 7 साल हो गए, क्या आपको लगता है कि आज इस फैसले से इंसाफ हुआ है? बिल्कुल लगता है, क्योंकि इंसाफ के एक कदम और नजदीक हम पहुंच गए हैं।
And on convicts, lawyers seeking 3 weeks' time to file mercy petition before the President of India, the apex court said, and I quote, whatever time is prescribed under law, convict can avail remedy of filing mercy plea within it, unquote. Now, Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General, tells Supreme Court that 1 week time is prescribed under law for filing this mercy petition before the President.
रिक्वेस्ट की आपके सामने, उन्होंने कहा जो भी आपके लिए मर्सी पिटीशन का टाइम है उस दौरान तक कोई डेथ वारंट जारी नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि सॉलिसिटर जनरल ने भी कहा कि 7 दिन का टाइम संविधान में दिया गया है कि रिव्यू पिटीशन डिसमिस होने के बाद 7 दिन के अंदर आप मर्सी पिटीशन फाइल कर सकते हैं। तो इसका टाइम सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने ऑर्डर में भी जस्टिस आर भानुमति ने लिखा है।
And viewers, any time from now, Delhi's Patiala House Court will also hear the plea of 2012 Delhi gang rape victims' parents. seeking to expedite the hanging of all the convicts in the case. All convicts are being produced through video conferencing before the court of Additional Solicitor General of ASJ Satish Kumar Arora. Vikas, legal correspondent, joining us live from Supreme Court. He continues to be live with us on this big story. Vikas, very quickly, the observations made by the top court as far as the review of the earlier petition is concerned. The court has in fact made some very, very strong observations in that case. Has it come on expected lines?
Well, Sakal, it is on expected lines. Supreme Court has clearly said that the review petition demands again to put and to assail facts again, and it cannot be allowed at this stage. Apart from it, court also said that whatever grounds have been given in this review petition have also been argued in the review petitions of 3 other convicts. That those petitions were dismissed in July 2018. So the grounds are same. No new facts have been given in the review petition, and in fact his lawyer wants to assail some new facts. So court said that we cannot allow all these things at this stage. The trial court didn't commit any kind of error in its judgment, and the same has been upheld by the not only by the High Court alone. In fact, the Supreme Court also upheld the judgment of trial court, and because of that, Supreme Court cannot entertain this review petition and cannot go into the kind of retrial at this stage. Apart from it, court also made observation that review petition is a legal remedy, but it cannot be filed because it is available to the convict. There must be some ground to file a review petition, and there was none in the present review petition. So the court has accordingly dismissed the review petition filed by the 4th convict Akshay Kumar Singh.
Okay.
Earlier, other 3 accused had already filed review petitions in July last year, and Supreme Court had rejected all those petitions.
So when it comes to legal remedy to the convicts, we know that they have been given 1 week's time, Vikas. Well, are we, if we have to understand, if we have to simplify the case, the observations, like Nirbhaya's mother said that we are inching closer to justice, but then they do have a legal aid. Do you think this is just a matter of time whether they move ahead with the legal aid or even not?
Well, Sakal, if these 4 convicts don't apply for a mercy plea before the president within a stipulated time, then there is no legal impediment in the execution of death warrant. As of now, there is no death warrant issued by the trial court, but once trial court issues the death warrant, then again the counsel for all these 4 convicts will have to file a mercy petition or will have to approach Supreme Court and file another legal remedy which is called curative petition. As of now, there is no impediment. In fact, whatever being argued on the stipulated time to file the mercy plea, Supreme Court didn't say any word on that, and Supreme Court simply said that whatever time is available as per the law to these convicts, that is allowed only. There is no specific 7 days time is mentioned, though Solicitor General said that as per law they have 7 days to file a mercy plea. So unless all these 4 convicts file a mercy plea or again approach the Supreme Court and file a curative petition, there is no legal impediment in the execution of a death warrant. The lower court, the Patiala House Court, is already hearing those petitions filed by the parents of Nirbhaya, where they said that almost 7 years have passed and still the order has not been implemented.
Yes, that's right. The fact that the court says no new grounds were found when it comes to review plea. In fact, because stay with us, we also have Rekha Agarwal, senior advocate, joining us on this edition of Midday Prime. Rekha, very quickly, your take on the verdict today, which Vikas says has come on expected lines. We agree it has come on expected lines because the earlier pleas were also similarly turned down by the top court. But many, Rekha, are questioning the unprecedented delay.
As your correspondent just said, that it was expected because there was a common judgment which had been passed by the lower court, by the trial court, and since the High Court had upheld the death sentence and thereafter the Supreme Court had dismissed the appeal, so therefore this was also expected that since the review petitions of other persons had been rejected, Akshay Kumar Singh's petition is also going to be rejected, and nothing new. In fact, in a review petition, legally you cannot even agitate anything new. You have have to just pick holes in the judgments which have been passed earlier and say that this is where the court has gone wrong. So which was not the case, because the Supreme Court had already passed a similar order in a joint judgment, a common judgment for the other accused persons. Having said that, yes, I do agree that yes, a very, very long time has lapsed. It's almost 7 years now, it's more than 7 years now since that horrific Nirbhaya case took place in December 2012. From the point of view and from the considering the agony and the angst of the parents of Nirbhaya, as well as the entire society at large, the citizens of this country at large.
Rekha,
yes, we are very tired.
To interrupt you briefly here, since you talked about the parents. It's been excruciatingly a long wait for the parents of Nirbhaya, and we once again are getting some more reactions from the parents. Remember, they're very hopeful that finally justice will prevail, and it is just a matter of time. Let's listen.
ये सफ़र हम लोग का बहुत दर्द भरा रहा है। एक एक पल हम लोगों के लिए बहुत भारी था कि क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा, कहीं ऐसा न हो केस फटक जाए, कोई कारण लग जाए। लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनके सब दलीलों को सुनते हुए सब खारिज कर दिया कि पानी का हवा का हवाला दे रहे थे, जबकि कोर्ट ने उनको मेन कुछ न कुछ ऐसा उनके पास अगर कुछ है तो उनको रखना चाहिए। पॉइंट टू पॉइंट उन्होंने रखा नहीं, सिर्फ हवा पानी और दुनिया जहान की बात करते रहे। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनका खारिज कर दिया है, रिव्यू पिटीशन खारिज कर दिया है।
Rekha, any merit, not even remotely, any merit when we talk about the arguments or the counter arguments put forth by the Convicts Council? 3 review pleas were turned down by the court. We
Yes.
saw the same pattern today. Is this just time buying ploy, which doesn't really make sense, because it's been 7 years, as you rightly mentioned, and the court has pointed out that this of course falls in the rarest of rare category, the very case that grabbed international headlines, and we still are waiting for justice.
From the point of view of the convict, I think that it's like a dying man clutching to the last straw possible. So every person who knows his fate is predetermined now, considering that the other review petitions have already been dismissed for the co-accused. Every person, I do not really, from the point of view of the convict, as I said, I really do not blame them. Every person will try to exhaust every possible remedy that is there to see that if the final verdict, the gallows, can be delayed as much as possible. This is a human reaction. Any human being will probably do that if he is in such a situation. But this is the, as I've been saying all along in your channel, that there are certain remedies which are provided under the Constitution of India, and that is that every person has a right to appeal against the order of the trial court, go to the High Court, from the High Court go to the Supreme Court, and in the Supreme Court if the petition fails, then you can file a review petition. After that you can file a curative petition, and then after that a mercy appeal. So these are the safeguards which have been provided, because in our country we value life more than death, and death has to be provided in the rarest of rare cases. Even in a case of murder, death penalty does not follow in every case of murder.
Let's try and understand the counter that is coming in here, because quickly to you now, any reactions you've managed to pick up from the counsel of these convicts? They do have at least 4 to 5 weeks time, if at all they decide to exhaust the remaining legal aids.
Well, the only legal remedy available to these 4 convicts is to file a curative petition and then file a mercy plea before the president. But so far as their lawyers are concerned, I think you must have heard what his lawyer was saying after the Supreme Court's order. In fact, the defense lawyer blamed everything on Supreme Court and said that Supreme Court had given that verdict in public pressure, and these were the arguments which were placed in the review petition, and so same arguments were repeated in open court hearing. So there was nothing new in whatever has been said in the trial court and High Court. The same have been repeated in Supreme Court, and again at the stage of review petition they repeated all those arguments that the judgment was given in public pressure, under public pressure. The real convicts was some other people, and police arrested these innocent people. These were the argument, that was the line of argument before the Supreme Court. So court said that you cannot agitate all these kind of things at this stage in the review petition. These things have already been decided by the trial court. Trial court find no inaccuracy in police probe. There was no error in police probe, and that has also been upheld by the High Court as well as the Supreme Court. So you cannot agitate a new thing at Supreme Court and say that the whole trial was wrong, the people were wrongly arrested by the police, they have been wrongly put into the police custody, then everything was wrong. So they have nothing new to say before the Supreme Court in the appeal, and the same thing we have seen they have repeated in the review petition stage as well.
Vikas, stay with us. In fact, we're getting some more breaking news coming in right now. Just coming in, the news that we can tell our viewers is that hearing has already started in the Patiala court in this case. Deceased advocate has requested the court that death warrant should be issued. Now, that's big. Court can give 15 days time for seeking any sort of legal remedy. In fact, I want Rekha to comment on this, like curative petitions or mercy appeal. Rekha, quickly.
Yeah, it is the right of the convict to file a curative petition after the review petition has been rejected, and maybe in this particular case the accused the guilty persons do file a curative petition. That time will tell, but the system will go parallel. Here the family of the deceased has made a very fervent plea before the Patiala House Court, before the trial court, to issue a death warrant. Both the things will go parallelly. It cannot be stopped. The court which is hearing the trial court which is hearing the matter, they have their own right to issue a death warrant or not, and at the same time the right of the convict also remains that he has a right to file a curative petition. So that time will tell whether he files a curative petition or not. In case he files that, then the death warrant will not be executed until the curative petition is decided. But again, it is all a matter of conjecture whether a curative petition is filed finally or not. If that is not filed, then of course the trial court will go ahead by issuing the death warrant, and then after that the plea will always remain.
So which means, Vikas, you've been tracking this case for the last so many years. I remember this could be just a matter of time now. Yes, there has been tremendous pressure, and why not when it comes to the kind of the case. I mean, this case will remain in our conscience, the way it happened, and the long legal struggle for the parents of Nirbhaya, and now this latest development. Is it just a matter of time now?
Well, Sakal, it's just matter of time, and it's I will say it's not a matter of months or years. Now it's a matter of weeks. As soon as lower court issues a death warrant, then everything starts on its own. The lawyer for defendant, they themselves will approach the Supreme Court and file curative, or they will approach the President House and file a mercy plea. So once the trial court issues this black warrant or death warrant, the whole process will start itself, and then it will be a matter of weeks and not a matter of months or years. It has already been 7 years since this matter started at the stage of trial court. Now the Supreme Court has rejected review petition of all 4 convicts, and the only thing, there is no legal impediment as of now. The moment trial court issues a black warrant, then everything will start on its own, Sakal. So it's a matter of weeks.
Yes, and Rekha, quickly now, the focus also is on the trial court, what trial court decides, irrespective of what happens, whether they go ahead with the review or mercy petition.
There is no impediment.
Curative petition or mercy petition.
Yes, there is no impediment before the trial court. The Patiala House Court will be very much within its right to issue a death warrant, because there is no stay. The order which has been passed by the trial court way back in 2013, while deciding the FIR and convicting all the 4 accused as guilty, then that order has not been stayed by any court. Rather, the High Court has confirmed the death sentence. Supreme Court has dismissed the petition. So now there is no stay order, no impediment, no injunction order before the trial court.
Let's
the trial court will go ahead.
Understand, Rekha, because you're an advocate yourself, a senior advocate. Curative petition, mercy petition, the merits wherein you can go ahead, and especially in this case, do you think it really cuts ice, considering the way this case shook the national conscience? There is tremendous amount of pressure on ground that finally at the end of the day justice should prevail, in not some ordinary justice, nothing less than death.
Justice should not only be done, but it should appear to be done.
Yes.
And considering the gruesome, barbaric manner in which this heinous crime was committed way back in 2012, in fact, even while speaking about it right now, I'm getting goose pimples.
Yes.
I'm remembering that horrific incident of 2012, where day in and day out we were all glued to the TV channels and praying for that Nirbhaya should survive. And she succumbed to the fatal injuries that she had suffered in the gruesome rape. And so, considering the barbaric manner in which it has been done, done. In our country, we do not, as I just said, that we do not give death punishment even in all murder cases. Even in murder cases where you've taken away the life, death punishment is given only the rarest of rare cases. And Justice M.L. Verma committee, when it was hearing the fervent pleas of various organizations that Section 376 Indian Penal Code should be amended and should be relooked. If I might just remind you, Sakal, you will remember those days you were also associated with this matter.
Yes.
The plea of one of the accused was that in fact rape had not even been committed because there had been no sexual intercourse, and only a rod had been penetrated into the private parts of the deceased.
Yes.
So that is why the very definition of rape has been made very, very vast, and and it was actually, if I might recall, it was those injuries which led to her death.
Yes.
But the reason behind that was committing a sexual outrage, sexual assault on the deceased person. So in this case, I think that all these pleas, the short time of 9 months which was taken by the trial court, a very, very short time was taken by the trial court to decide the case at that time. There was so much of pressure.
It forced judiciary to have a relook at the rape laws,
Yes.
Very briefly, need to wrap up, but Rekha, 20 seconds, whatever happens at the end of the day, do you think that will, and that should in fact set a very strong deterrent to something like this? Very, very unfortunately, last few weeks back, I remember we discussed the Hyderabad rape case with you in the very studio, and now we're waiting for big justice in this case.
Absolutely shocking, and I think that this judgment there should be taken to its logical conclusion. There should be a closure to this case, and once there's a closure, and once the world at large and the public at large of our country learns about it, I hope it acts as a deterrent to further sexual assaults on women.
Thank you very much. We at Doordarshan will continuously keep tracking those developments. Senior Advocate Rekha Agarwal, thanks for joining us, and also I thank my colleague and our senior legal correspondent Vikas for joining us live. Thank you so much. And let's move on to the other big stories that we are tracking for the viewers on this midday prime time. Supreme Court has also issued notice to centre, state governments and union territories and sought their responses, taking suo motu cognizance regarding assessment of criminal justice system in response to sexual offences. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde asked centre through Home Secretary, all the states and union territories through Chief Secretaries to file their responses and posted the matter for hearing on 7th of February next year. Well, staying with news coming from top court, on the other big news we are tracking at this hour, Supreme Court has issued notice to centre on petitions challenging the validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Centre has also been asked to file reply by 2nd week of January. There is no stay as of now by the top court on this. The top court has also decided to examine the constitutional validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act, but the court refused to stay its operation. The Act provides citizenship rights, remember, to certain class of refugees who have come to India from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. A bench comprising Chief Justice S.A. Bobde and Justice B.R. Gavai and Suryakant, they fixed the pleas, including those filed by the Indian Union Muslim League and Congress leader, former Union Minister Jairam Ramesh, for hearing on January 22nd next year. The bench has also issued notice to the centre on the batch of pleas seeking stay on the operation of the law, as well as on the main petition which challenges the constitutional validity of this legislation. And Union Ministers Prakash Javadekar and Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank have said that students should not worry about the amended act, the Citizenship Amended Act, as it ensures giving citizenship and not taking it back. They further appeal to youngsters to not be misguided or misled by anyone.
सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट बिल जो अब कानून बन गया है वो देश के हित में है और देश के एक भी नागरिक को उससे कोई एक्सक्लूजन नहीं होता है और एक भी नागरिक को कोई चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं, घुसपैठियों को चिंता करने की जरूरत है। इसमें ऐसी कोई समस्या नहीं है कि जिसमें आज के भारत के 130 करोड़ नागरिकों में एक को भी कोई तकलीफ नहीं होगी।
मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं कि जो लोग इसका विरोध कर रहे हैं उनका आधार क्या है? क्या वो देश के साथ खड़े नहीं हैं? क्या वो देश की इस सशक्तता को कमजोर करना चाहते हैं? और इसलिए जो राजनीति हो रही है इस पर वो दुर्भाग्यजनक है। मैंने छात्रों से अपील की है सबसे कि वो गुमराह ना हो, वह सामाजिक तत्व जो विघटन पैदा करना चाहते हैं, उन्माद फैलाना चाहते हैं छात्रों के नाम पर, और इसलिए सभी छात्रों से मेरा निवेदन है कि वो ऐसे षड्यंत्रों के शिकार न हो।
But the Delhi High Court has agreed to hear a public interest litigation seeking setting up of a fact-finding committee to look into the recent violence at Jamia Millia Islamia University. Now, this petition was mentioned before a bench of Chief Justice D.N. Patel and Justice Rekha Pali by Advocate Rizwan, and the court allowed it to be listed for tomorrow. The plea has sought judicial inquiry into the action taken by the police reportedly, which also includes firing at students allegedly. It also sought proper medical treatment and compensation for the injured students. Protesters torched 4 public buses and 2 police vehicles as they clashed with the police in New Friends Colony near Jamia University during a demonstration against the amended Citizenship Act earlier on Sunday. Meanwhile, Delhi police has also filed an FIR in connection with the Jamia Millia Islamia incident. In this FIR, the police has stated that a total of 75 tear gas shells were used by police to disperse the mob at the university. It also further states that 7 to 8 students and miscreants were pelting stones from inside the university gates. The police also mentions in the FIR that they entered into the campus with limited force to identify these miscreants and for the safety of the students. And meanwhile, Delhi police has also arrested 6 people in connection with yesterday's violence in Seelampur in East Delhi during a protest against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Earlier, 3 FIRs were filed in Seelampur area, Jafrabad and Dayalpur police stations for rioting and damaging public property during the incident. Police personnel carried out patrolling in Seelampur this morning as well. Meanwhile, Section 144 has been imposed in Delhi's northeast district, which actually debars assembly of more than 4 people at one place.
6 लोगों को अभी तक अरेस्ट किया जा चुका है और बाकी लोगों को आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हैं। वीडियो हम लोग एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, तो काफ़ी लोग उसमें आइडेंटिफाई भी कर लिए हैं। काफ़ी सारे पहलू हैं जिनको अलग-अलग तरीके से देखा जा रहा है।
And appealing for restraint while exercising what he calls a democratic right to protest, the Shahi Imam of Delhi's Jama Masjid has stressed that a citizenship law at the core of massive protests across the country, and I quote, has nothing to do with Muslims living in India, unquote. It's a very strong message. Sayyid Ahmed Bukhari says that there is a difference between Citizenship Amendment Act and National Registrar of Citizens. While CAA has become a law, NRC has only been announced. He further added that as per the CAA, that is the amended act, Muslim refugees who come to India from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan will not get Indian citizenship, while it has nothing to do with the Muslims living in India. It is also said, he has also said that to protest is the democratic right of the people of India. No one can stop us from doing it. However, it is important that it is done in control, keeping emotions under control, and that's the most important part. That's the message coming in from Jama Masjid's Shahi Imam. And in view of the protest against Citizenship Amendment Act, the administration in Prayagraj district of UP is also on high alert. Police administration has imposed Section 144 across the country and security has been stepped up. Ban has also been ordered on conducting any event or demonstration without permission from the administration from concerned authority. To avert any untoward incident, officials including ADG and DM, they flag marched today to highlight the active participation of the police force in UP. Shifting focus to Jaipur blast verdict. Special court today pronounced judgment in the Jaipur bomb blast case, during which it convicted 4 persons while acquitted 1. The 4 accused, identified as Sarwar Azmi, Mohammad Saif, Saifur Rahman and Salman, were held guilty on charges under different sections, including Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. 5th accused, Shabazz, was acquitted after being given benefit of doubt. The decision in the case will be delivered later this week.
आठ केस जो जयपुर बम ब्लास्ट के चल रहे थे, उन 8 केसों का फैसला कोर्ट ने दिया है और उन 8 केसों में शहबाज को दोषी नहीं माना है। बाकी 4 जो मुलजिम थे उनको दोषी माना है। जिसने बम प्लांट किया उसको बम प्लांट के लिए दोषी माना है और बाकी सबको 120 में कॉन्स्पिरेसी में दोषी माना है और विधि विरुद्ध क्रियाकलाप अधिनियम में दोषी माना है और विस्फोटक अधिनियम में दोषी माना है। हर किसी को 120 में दोषी माना है।
And we stay with this big story and do a quick check as far as the fact sheet of Jaipur 2008 blast is concerned. Well, it all started on May 13th when 8 serial bomb blasts rocked Pink City of Jaipur. Let's move on. What we saw that fateful evening, consecutive blasts close to a place of worship took place in old Jaipur city. Moving on, this blast killed at least 70 people, injured more than 170 people on that evening. Well, this also coincided with the 10th anniversary of Pokhran nuclear test way back then. And at a diplomatic level, let's move on. India raised this issue with Pakistan on May 21, 2008 when Shiv Shankar Menon was the foreign secretary. Mujahideen claimed responsibility for Jaipur blasts, and also anti-terror squad in the course of time arrested 5, while 3 of them are still absconding or at large. 3 accused were lodged in Delhi and in Hyderabad jails. Moving on, 2 were killed reportedly in Batla House encounter in Delhi in 2008. Well, that's a quick roundup or a backgrounder as far as Jaipur 2008 blast is concerned. Let's move on and also look at the other big stories that we are tracking for you on Midday Prime. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla in Dehradun today inaugurated the 79th Conference of Presiding Officers of Legislative Bodies. The presiding officers of all state legislatures are participating in today's conference. Among the items on the agenda is 10th schedule to the Constitution and also role of the Speaker. Addressing the conference, Birla said people of India are very democratic in nature. It was evident as 2019 elections were held with total transparency.
आम चुनाव के बाद जो विश्व का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र देश, जहां पारदर्शी तरीके से चुनाव होते हैं और हमारे लोकतंत्र की विशेषता है कि 130 करोड़ का देश, इतने बड़े देश के अंदर जिस पारदर्शी तरीके से चुनाव होते हैं, मतदाताओं की लगातार लोकतंत्र में बढ़ती आस्था और बढ़ता मतदान, ये संकेत करता है कि भारत की जनता का लोकतंत्र के प्रति और दृढ़ विश्वास बढ़ता जा रहा है.
He also shared his experiences as a Lok Sabha speaker and said that efforts are put up to follow the parliamentary norms at all costs. He further said that despite consent or even disagreements in parliament, the aim is to run democracy properly under parliamentary rules.
हमारे भारत की लोकतंत्र की विशेषता है कि अलग अलग दल, अलग अलग जाति, अलग अलग क्षेत्र, अलग अलग बोली, अलग अलग भाषाएं होने के बाद भी संसद में असहमति या सहमति होते हुए भी हमारी कोशिश रहती है कि हम लोकतंत्र की मर्यादाओं को संसदीय नियमों के तहत ठीक से चला सकें.
Speaker also emphasized that zero hour is an important aspect in functioning of the parliament.
शून्यकाल का बड़ा महत्व हो गया. इस पर हम 2 दिन जब हमारा ये सम्मेलन, इस पर चर्चा भी होगी. ये विषय हमने चर्चा के लिए भी रखा है और उसके साथ साथ हमने 2 विषयों पर जब चर्चा रखी है, दल बदल कानून पर भी हम चर्चा यहाँ 2 दिवसीय करने वाले हैं.
In other news, Union Minister Prasar Bharati today addressed his summit on environmental sustainability and economic development in national capital. While addressing concerns about the depleting ozone layer and also the emission of CFCs and HFCs, the minister said that it is the need of the hour to call upon a meeting to control the minimum temperatures and also to keep a strong check.
हम एक जो भी रेफ्रिजरेटर मेकर्स है, जो एयर कंडीशनर मेकर्स है, उनकी एक बैठक बुलाएंगे और बैठक बुलाकर उनके साथ ये कूलिंग एक्शन प्लान और मिनिमम टेम्परेचर 23-24 कैसे रहे, इसके लिए हम उनसे चर्चा करेंगे, क्योंकि ये भी प्रदूषण जलवायु परिवर्तन के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण उपाय है और इसकी जरूरत भी है।
Environment Minister also acknowledged that Indian government's initiative towards solar power and the Solar Alliance after coming into power in 2014. He mentioned that 78 countries are part of this alliance, which is a big achievement for India.
अब आने के बाद हमने सोलर अलायंस किया और सोलर अलायंस में आज 78 देश सहभागी हुए हैं। ये भारत की अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पहल है और उसको बहुत सफलता मिली है।
The second 2+2 dialogue between India and US will take place in Washington today, during which the two sides will take stock of the entire gamut of strategic relations between the two countries. The Indian side will be represented by our External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and also Defence Minister Rajnath Singh.
Second Indo-US Ministerial 2+2 dialogue will take place in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. The dialogue is expected to be highly qualitative and productive meeting, during which some key agreements that will augment the bilateral security ties could be signed. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar along with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh have reached Washington, D.C. for the dialogue. They would be hosted by their American counterparts, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Defence Secretary Mark Esper at the Foggy Bottom headquarters of the State Department. Ahead of the dialogue, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh attended a reception for the Indian community and Friends of India in New York. Rajnath Singh spoke about the importance and contribution of the Indian-American community and their role in the success of Howdy Modi event organized during the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Houston earlier this year. The first 2+2 dialogue was held in New Delhi in September last year after the mechanism was approved by Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. The 2+2 dialogue on Wednesday comes after a record 4 meetings between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump this year, including the massive joint address by the leaders in Houston in September. The 2+2 dialogue is the highest level institutional mechanism between India and the US that brings together the perspectives of two countries on foreign policy, defense and strategic issues. It is possible that the two countries could formally sign the Industrial Security Annex to the General Security of Military Information Agreement. This is a key enabling agreement along with Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement signed in the inaugural 2+2 dialogue that will allow greater technology transfer. There is also high possibility of announcements on pending defense sales like MH-60R helicopters, Mk-45 naval guns and other systems under consideration. Bureau Report, DD News.
Meanwhile, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh also today visited Naval Air Station Oshnia and Naval Station Norfolk during his US visit. He said this visit reflects on the strong defense ties between India and US and hopes that the relations will further consolidate in the near future. During the visit to NAS Oshnia, Raksha Mantri inspected a Boeing mobile flight simulator, static display and FA-18E flight demonstration as well. Rajnath Singh, Raksha Mantri, was accompanied by Ambassador of India to the US, Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, Defence Secretary Dr. Ajay Kumar and other senior officials of the Government of India and also active duty military officers. Let's move on to poll-bound Jharkhand back home, where campaigning has already intensified for the fifth and last phase of assembly polls. A string of rallies are being scheduled today. JP Nadda of the BJP addressed a rally in Dunga just a while back. Okay, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi also rallied. In fact, she also addressed a rally in Pakur in Jharkhand. Fifth and final phase of Jharkhand elections, remember, will be taking place on December 20th. 16 seats will be going to the polls in the final phase. 5-phase poll voting remained by and large peaceful on all assembly seats in the previous 4 phases, and no untoward incident has been reported so far, particularly from the Naxal-infested zones as well. The results to these elections will be declared on 23rd of December. Well, some news coming in from Imphal. The development in the northeastern state is going at a very, very rapid pace. The work on National Highway 39 to connect northeast parts of the country to Myanmar and Thailand is also going on a fast pace. For more on this development, we share with you this ground report by my colleague and our correspondent Vishal Baristo. Ground report from Imphal.
40 kilometers from the capital Imphal, I'm here at Lamkhai. As you can see, the highway construction is in full swing, and this is part of the Asian Highway number 1, which would connect capital city Imphal to More, and from there on it would cross Myanmar and then to Thailand. It is part of the Act East policy of the Prime Minister, and I have with me the project manager of Phase 2. How long is this Phase 2 and how much work has been completed?
Phase 2 is the 45 kilometer. This is a change from starting 350 to 395, and this is the maximum job of this. We are ahead the schedule, and it will be completed. Expected completion is May 22, and plain area we have already completed, and now in hill part, that is in plain area is 16 kilometer almost completed except this BUP, and remaining the 29 kilometer hill part, that is more than 24 kilometers hill part already cutting, and DBM already completed. So we are ahead in schedule.
If we combine all the 3 phases, how long is the stretch, and how it has been divided?
It is more than 95 kilometers. So right now we are doing the middle part, that is change from 350 to 395, and another starting change is 320 to 330 to 350. That is 20 kilometers. Beyond this main structure, we have to construct this is one type of flyover. Construct a RE wall, earth retaining wall. So it is around 9.9 to 0.92, nearly 1 kilometer. This will be the structure.
So you heard the work is in full swing, and as a project manager says that they are ahead of time, so very soon you would get to see vehicles flying over this highway, which is called the Asian Highway.
So soon there will be a road connecting Imphal to Thailand and Myanmar. Well, let's move on and get you more stories. The 18th National Maritime Search and Rescue Board meeting organized by the Indian Coast Guard was held today in national capital, and it included representatives of ministries of shipping, fisheries, state coastal police forces, etc. Our reporter Nandita Dagar spoke to DG of the Coast Guard, which is the nodal agency for search and rescue at sea.
We have with us the Director General of the Indian Coast Guard, which is the nodal agency for maritime search and rescue. At the 18th National Maritime Search and Rescue Board meeting, which is just been held. So, what was the agenda and what was the key decisions that you came out? What were the key points that you came out with?
In this entire process, every year we keep improving our search and rescue mechanism, and this time of the 18th National Maritime Search and Rescue Board meeting which we had the strong 3 pillars of our nation, that is Ministry of Shipping, Ministry of Fisheries, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, apart from the Ministry of Defence, that with the department which I am representing myself, wherein all these agencies have a role to play for ensuring the safety of mariners and as well as the fishermen, as well as the passengers who are traveling the air. And this congregation has come with a lot of positivity, with the resolution that we are going to have much more robust SAR mechanism in times to come, which is already there. It is going to improvising the system and the legislation which are required to be there. That's it.
So last year you were stretched a lot because of the major cyclones that were there. Can you give us very briefly how the last year has been in terms of search and rescue for the Coast Guard?
See, every year there is always a cyclone on the east coast and as well as the west coast. But the year just gone by, or going to be completing in a few days from now, has witnessed almost 8 major cyclones. And first 2 cyclones we had a little amount of disaster, and later, as a lessons learned from that, we have alerted all coastal states, coastal authority, fisheries department, and every organization who are responsible for the SAR, search and rescue requirement, have come forward for the subsequent cyclone. We have been prepared, more proactive, more reactive. As a result, we have prevented the loss of life, and we have moved the fishing boats, more than 6,000 boats, to safer location. That itself is a greater effort from the Coast Guard, the merchantmen, as well as the other agents who are associated with the Coast Guard.
Moving on, well, under Mission Indradhanush 2.0, widespread vaccination campaign is being carried out all across the country, the first phase of which concluded on 2nd of December. Now, the implementation of this campaign is on in full swing in Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh and is also showing widespread positive results. Let's have a look at this ground report from Madhya Pradesh.
Under the first phase of intensified Mission Indradhanush 2.0, widespread vaccination campaign has been implemented in Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh. Asha and Anganwadi workers went door to door and encouraged pregnant women and parents to get their child vaccinated. Under the scheme, children below 2 years of age and pregnant women who were left out in the previous phases are being vaccinated against preventable life-threatening diseases.
प्राइवेट में लगाने जाएं तो हमें 3,000 रुपये लगते हैं, सरकारी में हमें आंगनवाड़ी में कुछ नहीं लगता, इससे हमें बहुत फायदा होता है। बच्चों को भी लगाया जाता है, गर्भवती महिलाओं को भी लगाया जाता है।
टीकाकरण आज लगा है, सरकार ने हमारे लिए जो किया है वो हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा है। हमारे बच्चों को टीका लगा है और जो प्राइवेट टीका लगता है वो महंगे आते हैं, इसलिए सरकार ने हमारे लिए जो किया है बहुत अच्छा है।
Phase of the campaign in Khandwa district, 959 children and 342 pregnant women were identified for being vaccinated. The first phase of the campaign concluded on 12 December, in which 1,056 children and 356 pregnant women have been vaccinated, which exceeds the set target by 4%. Intensified Mission Indradhanush 2.0 has been successful in meeting 99% of its set target across the country in the first phase. In the next 3 phases, it aims to achieve 100% of its set goal. Bureau Report, DD News.
And in Midday Prime, it's time for the news coming in from the world of business. And my colleague Nancy joins us live on this business segment. Well, Nirmala Sitharaman, as we speak, Nancy is holding a closed-door meeting on GST, and that continues to be the top business story, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes, Sakal. The Finance Minister is chairing the GST Council meeting, and in fact, the focus of the GST Council meeting is on the revenue augmentation and, of course, the measures that are going to be taken. The government plans to boost tax collection for this fiscal 2019-20. So, well, remains to be seen what comes out of that very important GST Council meeting today. Well, yes, just a background as well, those graphics that were up for you. And earlier in the morning, the Finance Minister also chaired the 4th pre-budget consultation meeting with the Finance Ministers of States and Union Territories in connection with the Union Budget 2020-21. The Finance Minister had also yesterday held consultations with stakeholders, groups from industry, services and trade. The Minister of State for Finance, Anurag Thakur, Finance Secretary, Secretary Economic Affairs, Revenue Secretary, the Secretary DPIAT, Secretary Tourism, Secretary Commerce, CEA, the Chairman CBDT and Chairman CBIC had also attended the meeting, among others. And moving on now, the Communications Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad launched the National Broadband Mission with vision to fast-track growth of digital communication infrastructure, bridge digital divide, facilitate the digital empowerment and inclusion, and also provide affordable and universal access of broadband for all. Now, some of the objectives of the mission, which is structured with strong emphasis on the 3 principles of universality, affordability and quality of broadband access to all the villages by 2022, also facilitating universal and equitable access to broadband services for across the country and especially in rural and remote areas. And that's all the business news this afternoon. Sakal, it's back to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Nancy. And now on Midday Prime, we'll quickly take a look at what's making news across the globe. Well, U.S. House Committee has set rules of engagements with the President Donald Trump's impeachment debate. Now, this House is set to vote on the impeachment today. The U.S. Constitution gives the House the power to impeach a president for high crimes and misdemeanors as well. And part of the documents checks and balances among the executive, legislature and judicial branches of the federal government also come in ambit. The Democratic-led House is expected to pass 2 articles of impeachment charging the Republican president with abuse of power and obstruction of the Congress for his dealings with Ukraine. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has lashed out over his impending impeachment in a letter. President Trump has accused the Democrats of attempted coup. We're getting some breaking news back home. The court has directed the jail authorities to issue a notice to all the accused in which accused will clear what is their stance so far, which means legal remedies they want to seek. Okay, now all accused have to file their reply within 7 days. So basically they have to tell the court their next course of action, and the next date of hearing is fixed at 7th January. Now remember, this is coming live, inputs coming in from the top court, Patiala court, hearing some important developments. Next date of hearing is on January 7th. The court has directed these accused that they have to file their reply within 7 days and inform the court whether or not they're going to go ahead with the remaining legal remedies. 7th, all the accused have to file their reply within 7 days. Anil Punya joining us on phone line. Anil Punya, इसके क्या रिपोर्टेशंस होंगे और कोर्ट ने क्या-क्या ऑब्जर्वेशंस दिए इस मामले में? एक लिमिटेड टाइम फ्रेम सेट किया गया है।
देखिए, आज इसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट में अक्षय ठाकुर की जो रिव्यू पिटीशन डिसमिस हुई, तो उसमें पहले तो कोर्ट ने ये कहा कि अभी मेरे पास रिटन ऑर्डर नहीं आए हैं, लेकिन प्रोसिक्यूटर ने अंडरटेकिंग दी। कोर्ट ने ये कहा है कि जो बाकी एक्यूज हैं उनके जो मर्सी पिटीशन या क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन के जो प्रोविजंस बचे हुए हैं, वो एक कारण से दूसरे कारण से कभी एक लगाता है, कभी दूसरा लगाता है। तो आज जेल अथॉरिटी को डायरेक्ट किया है कि सब एक्यूज को आप नोटिस करें जेल मैनुअल की सेक्शन 53 के तहत, और जेल मैनुअल में जब नोटिस करेगी तो जेल अथॉरिटी को सभी एक्यूज बताएंगे कि उनके पास जो लीगल रेमेडी है वो कब तक एग्जॉस्ट करेंगे। सिविल 7 दिन के अंदर अंदर उन सभी एक्यूज को जेल अथॉरिटी को बताना होगा। उसके बाद 5 तारीख को, तो ये एक तरह से कहें कि आखिरी चांस सारे एक्यूज को कोर्ट ने दिया है, और 7 दिन के अंदर अंदर उनके नोटिस का जवाब ऑन रिकॉर्ड जेल अथॉरिटी की तरफ से कोर्ट में आएगा, तो नेक्स्ट डेट हियरिंग पे डेथ वारंट जारी होने का रास्ता साफ होता नजर आता है।
तो एक तरह से देखा जाए तो ये एक फास्ट ट्रैक मूव है कोर्ट की तरफ से, क्योंकि 7 दिन के अंतर्गत अक्यूज को कोर्ट को बताना होगा कि या वो अपने जो उनके क्यूरेटिव या मर्सी पिटिशंस है उनका इस्तेमाल करेंगे या नहीं विद इन 7 डेज।
देखिए, इसमें शक्ल, अब मैं आपको बैकग्राउंड बताऊं तो जैसे 3 लोगों ने रिव्यू पिटीशन फाइल किया था, 3 लोगों ने 1 साल पहले करीब 3 लोगों ने किया, तीनों का डिसमिस हुआ, चौथे ने जानबूझ के नहीं किया। अब उन्होंने ये एक एक्यूज जो चौथे थे उसने किया। इस तरह से डिले टैक्टिक्स एडवोकेट की तरफ से चलाई जाती है, और फिर यहाँ एप्लीकेशन लगाई जाती है कि एक बार कहा जाता है कि हमने मर्सी पिटीशन फाइल नहीं किया, दूसरा कहते हैं कि हमारे मर्सी पिटीशन का भी ऑप्शन खुला हुआ है। तो डिले टैक्टिक्स को रोकने के लिए जेल मैनुअल का सहारा लेते हुए कोर्ट ने आज ये 7 दिन के अंदर सबका क्लियर करने को कहा है, और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डेट ऑफ हियरिंग पे कोई रास्ता नहीं बचेगा, क्योंकि जेल की जो कंसर्न अथॉरिटी है उसके अंडरटेकिंग जब ऑन रिकॉर्ड आ जाएगी तो फिर इनके पास इस तरह की डिले टैक्टिक्स का कोई स्कोप नहीं बचेगा।
तो एक तरह से लीगली देखा जाए ये 7 दिन के अंतर्गत इस पूरे मामले को रफा दफा करने की कोर्ट ने एक तरह से कवायद की है, क्योंकि 7 दिन में उनको ये बताना होगा कि उनका नेक्स्ट मूव क्या है, वरना कोर्ट अपना इस पे फाइनल कॉल देगी।
निश्चित सकल बिल्कुल सही आपने कहा है। जो जिस तरह से वो जो एक तरह से कोर्ट में जिस तरह की रेमेडी के नाम पे जो डिले टैक्टिक्स थी उसका रास्ता बंद करते हुए जेल अथॉरिटी की तरफ से ये उनका पक्ष रखने के लिए डायरेक्शंस दिए कि जेल अथॉरिटी बताए ये क्या कहते हैं सारे एक्यूज। किसी का वकील नहीं आता है, किसी का एमिकस क्यूरी आ जाता है, किसी का आज भी एक एक्यूज का कोई वकील ही पेश नहीं हुआ। तो ये डिले टैक्टिक्स को रोकने के लिए जेल अथॉरिटी से रिटन में सबमिशन मांगे हैं, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डेट ऑफ हियरिंग 7 जनवरी है।
Thank you very much, Anil Punya, our senior legal correspondent, for getting us this breaking news. So basically, viewers, the bottom line is that court has finally put a full stop when it comes to further delaying tactics legally and also any legal impediments whatsoever. On that note, we wrap up this edition of Midday Prime. Meanwhile, news updates and breakings continue on your channel, Doordarshan.